Hey everybody, I'm here to give you my review on tonight's Monday Night Raw. And first of all, let me just say that I watched Raw, but I didn't watch all of it. Basically what happened is that I was planning to watch Raw and record it, like I usually do. Basically, like I said, I was planning to do that. And that's my phone telling me my battery's low. But I was planning to do that. I was planning to record and watch Raw tonight. But what happened is that, what happened was, and I don't know if this has happened to you before, but what happened is that 30 minutes before Raw comes on the air, our cable company basically has a brownout or blackout or something. Basically what happened is that while me and my mom were eating dinner, she was watching one of her shows on ABC Family, which is The Secret Life of the American Teenager. And what happened is 30 minutes into her show, the cable starts to mess up. And we probably figured at first that it's probably the ABC Family channel. But as we check all the other channels, we see that they're all blacked out. And they have all the same message. This channel will be available shortly. And so basically we think so what we want to know is find out what's going on. So we call up Comcast, but we find out as we try to call up Comcast that we can't call out. Why? Because the phone's out. And then we try the internet's out. We tried the computer in the rec room that has Wi-Fi, and even the Wi-Fi is affected. And why? Well, essentially, like I said, it was these are three things in my mind. One, it was a brownout, which is basically a a way of saying in the summer that the heat from the sun, the degrees, basically caused everything to, black out or short out. It was a blackout, which I sincerely doubt because there was no storms around. Or three, there was an accident and someone may have knocked down a cable or pole. So, anyway, I had to wait basically about 55 minutes before it finally came on. And what was ironic about when it finally came on was the fact that John Cena was coming down to the ring just as it was coming on. So that was kind of funny. But what was even more funny is that when they came back from a commercial during the main event, during the tag team main event, they had these little words on the bottom of the screen that said like California FCC or something cable. I don't know if it was their way of saying, they apologizing for messing up. We don't know. So anyway, I had to wait 55 minutes, and it finally comes back on, again, just in time for John Cena to come down to the ring and address what happened last week with the NXT rookies. Now, speaking of the NXT rookies, they began the show in the ring. They were basically forced by Bret Hart, or at least Wade Barrett was, to apologize for their actions. None of them wants to apologize, and basically Wade Barrett says, hey, if anybody needs to apologize to anybody, it's management. WWE management needs to apologize for us for making us go through the hell that we went through on NXT. Basically the challenges, having to dress in small enclosed areas, making us look like jokes, humiliating us, changing the stipulations on a whim at the last second, like the decision of who stays, who doesn't, that sort of thing. And basically, Wade Barrett tells Bret Hart, because Bret Hart comes out, says, Bret, we have nothing against you or any of the superstars, even the ones that we attacked last week. It's WWE management. Basically, what Wade Barrett is saying is that, hey, the blood that was spilled last week, if you will, it was not on our hands. It was on WWE management's hands. And he tells Bret, you can fix this. You can fix this by signing everybody here, along with me, because I'm already under one, but you can sign all the other 6 to a contract, okay, and fix everything. However, we find out that the NXT rookies also have some demands. Basically, David Otunga comes on and says, hey, once you sign us, we also want first-class accommodations all around. We want our own private dressing rooms. We want our own hotel. Basically, he's saying that they, if you will, want accommodations all around. Oh, first-class accommodations all around. And Brett says, hey, look, you guys ain't going to get none of that crap. And Wade, you basically fucked yourself last week. Well, okay, he didn't say that because it's PG, but that's basically what Brett was telling Wade, that, hey, after what you and your friends did last week, Wade, you basically fucked yourself, not just out of your title shot, not just out of being the next breakthrough star, but out of a job. Because basically Brett fired Wade Barrett right there, and then tells Wade and the NXT rookie, get out of the building, or else I'm going to call the cops. So basically, later on, as I said, I finally was able to watch it as soon as John Cena was coming down to the ring. And John Cena calls out the NXT rookies, basically say, hey, you guys want to finish what you started? Come on down. And then here comes the NXT rookies along with Wade Barrett. But as soon as they're coming down, the King comes into the ring, Jerry Lawler comes in the ring, Evan Bourne comes in, William Regal, Mark Henry, Santino Marella, Edge, Randy Orton, basically anybody who's anybody on the roster comes down, and basically we get a brawl, and they're able to drive off the NXT rookies to the end of the show. Now, I did find out that Miz won back the United States title before this all happened, so now he's a two-time champion, and he's going to have to defend against R-Truth in a rematch at the pay-per-view. Then we find out that, and then after that, let's see, we got ourselves a Divas tag team match with Gail, Kim, and Eve taking on Maurice and Alicia Fox. And Gail, Kim, and Eve win the match, but essentially Eve wrestling or performing the whole match by herself. Oh, and we also find out that these four ladies will face each other in a Divas Fatal 4-Way for the Divas title. And then afterwards, we get a tag team match with Big Show and Mark Thurston of Royal Pains, who is the guest host, taking on DiBiase and Virgil. And of course, Big Show and Mark Thurston win, and DiBiase does something similar to his dad by sticking a $100 bill down Virgil's mouth. But instead of, just walking away, he goes back, takes the $100 bill out, wipes it on Virgil's chest, and then walks off with it. Then we have Vladimir and Santino. We have Regal and Santino with Vladimir as the special referee. Santino wins the match, and then we have Bret Hart call those three along with the other superstars, Raw superstars, up to the up to the stage, and basically said he doesn't want to have a repeat of what happened last week. So with all the superstars there, we have our main event, which is Cena and Orton taking on Sheamus and Edge, and it turns out to be a great match. And just as we're about to get to the finish of the match, and John Cena is about to wrap it up, if you will, and as he's just about to hit his five-knuckle shuffle, we get a classic wrestling blackout. The kind of blackouts you would have seen in ECW and in TNA. We get a classic wrestling blackout right there. And then we see the NXT rookies trashing the back area. We get a focus of John Cena and the superstars looking up at the Titantron like, they can't believe what they're seeing. And then we see the NXT rookies dragging Bret Hart, beating down Bret Hart into the back of a limousine, and then one of them driving that limousine, backing it up into different cars and limos, and basically rattling Bret back and forth, shaking him up, and then basically leaving him for dead. But before doing that, basically they leave Bret for dead at the end of the show. But before they do that, Wade Barrett says they want their answers from Bret this Sunday at the Fatal 4-Way, the pay-per-view. So overall, it was okay. It was a decent go-home edition of Raw to the pay-per-view, and it was a great follow-up to the whole NXT Invasion angle because we get more of an emphasis of what happened. Basically, we find out that the NXT rookies have a problem with WWE management and not the superstars. And I'll be back in a second.